Okay. Hey guys, how's it going? It's me, Yoko from Japan. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm live from Fukuoka Prefecture, Japan. How are you guys doing? Sorry, I'm late again. I think let's blame the season because it's so unsteady here. The weather is so unsteady and so every night I think I'm going to bed earlier than before, but I wake up after a little bit and I have nightmares and the sleep quality is awful and I'm not feeling very well in that way, I'm good, but every day my body is trying to adjust, and that I have all sorts of colitis, so every day I'm so afraid what kind of day is it gonna be like for my body, it's so annoying, but anyway, I'm here at least, so thank you for being in there. I see two comments. What's up, guys? What's up? Pop. Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Oh, now I see lots of comments. Hi, Yoko, and her balloon. Is this my balloon? Yeah, goes the balloon. Yeah. Yoko, you're looking elegant as always. Thank you. I try. Yes. Well, perfect timing, really. Yeah. Sorry, I'm late. Hi, Yoko. No, it says Yoko, Ohio. Ohio. Hey, Yoko, I heard about it too. Yeah. Did you guys hear about the balloon? China's spy balloon. It's now shut down by the US. Yay! Oh, thank you for a super chat. Yes, always thank you. Thank you so much. This is what I do, and I really appreciate it. Every cent of your super chat. Thank you so much. Yes, America was America, you know. So it's great. I mean, of course, we have to complain about what took so long to shoot down the balloon. Once you know what it is, it's not a weather balloon. It's not like China couldn't control it. They can control it, and it was obviously observing the U.S. even above the nuclear facilities and so on with the analog, low tech, low tech gear. So we knew what was what was happening. It has happened before in Japan as well. That it was, I don't think it was from China. It's probably from North Korea. I don't know the details, but we have actually witnessed a balloon before, around Japan, I believe. So that happens. And I think I saw a screenshot of Fox News, which this Japanese lady was sharing, and it showed that the balloon is everywhere, around the US. And also that I don't think that it's the first time. So, what took so long? And also, of course, it was great that they finally shut it down. The Japanese government, for example, they would never do that because we don't want to stimulate China. But as for the US, at least America was able to shoot it down, and also they chose it to do it over the ocean territorial waters of America. So meaning that it's not above people. So they made sure that nobody gets injured. But in my opinion, in my personal opinion, it doesn't matter. There can be sacrifices, and of course you should minimize the sacrifice, but you have to calculate the balance. It's about your national security versus a few people maybe. And so and it's not a huge balloon either, I believe. So a balloon, how big can it be? But at least but yeah, it was good anyway to see that America handled it anyway, even though it took so long. And Biden says that he told his people to take care of it, shoot it down way earlier, but it took a while. And Biden did do his job, whatever. But I'm is it true? Because when I look at Biden now, Biden, like uh, I'm a conservative person in Japan, and I don't, even though I have lots of policy difference, between me and Biden, but I try to be I try to understand him, you know. Um, but yeah, wait, I forgot where I was going with that. Uh, yeah. Anyway, sorry. I will talk about it when I remember. Sorry, I get easily distracted, like trying to form my opinion in another language that and it's politics. It's a lot to focus on. But anyway, Ohio, hi. China is mad that we blew up their balloon. Yes. And they are saying that you are overreacting. No, not at all. It's like you should overreact. Like America should react more. It's still lacking, in my opinion. Oh, the balloon actually got popped. Yes, yes. Oh yeah, you our earlier comment. I saw pop. Now I see why. I hadn't heard it got taken down. Yeah, now they are trying to collect every piece of the remains, you know, because that's the process. You know, now they're gonna investigate. You know, America will investigate. That's good. At least you know that those F-22 Japan boat are good for something. Yes, yes, exactly. Fighter jets. If Trump were still here, there would be no Chinese balloon. Yeah. I wonder, do you think that it's only recent years though? Like I don't know. Like I have to gather information in order to judge because sometimes, you know, even the head of your administration is good. Sometimes it's a system, you know, of a country. So you don't know how much in detail that the your top guy is paying attention to. Um, yeah, I've been spending all day with family, so I didn't have a chance to see the news about it. Oh, I see. I love hearing what Japanese are saying about America. Yeah, I uh, I feel the same about America, especially over the past few years or since the Trump administration, I think that, for example, I watch Fox News because it's easy, it's on YouTube, and it's professionally done, so it's easy for me to watch and understand what's going on. And I realized that Americans are talking about the same thing as here. You know, like let's look back in history, like Obama administration, America and Japan, like Japanese conservatives, like there were lots of differences and we were not on the same page, you know. And Shinzo Abe worked so hard to, you know, when he came back as a prime minister of Japan, especially the second time, you know. So Shinzo Abe tried, like he worked so much to be the bridge between Japan and America, especially on national security and economy. And then even though at first it was Obama, then it was switched with Trump, and with Trump, you know, both focused on China, and then as things started to like work better, you know, if things started to become efficient, and our values and our focus and the sense of threat that we share became the same, basically. So when I look at the news like from the conservative perspective in America, I don't see difference, you know, when it comes to like foreign things, that like especially on China. Still Middle East and so forth, I think that there could be some differences because our standpoints are different. But as for China, we're totally on the same page, and the anger that we have and so on, like yeah, it's amazing that even though we have all this language barrier and so on, and cultural difference too, like it's very different, right? Supposed to be different, but actually we are very similar. And I really wish that you could see that, you know, like some of you are like some of you cannot understand Japanese, so you know it, but the majority of American citizens, you know, like ordinary people, they have no idea that we are feeling the same over here in like almost like on the back of the earth, you know, we are thinking the same. And yeah. Anyway, I talk a lot. Okay. There are two other balloons, really? What happened to the two other balloons? I wonder what type of high risk cameras the balloon had on it. Yeah. I really want to see what they caught it. But they can control it, right? So they probably saw it live and so on. They should yeah, they should give all the recordings of that camera. Hmm. Balloon was the size of three buses? What? 150 people could fit in the space. That's a lot. Sorry, I'm trying to picture what it would look like. Three buses in front of me. Oh, that's gigantic. Man. Still, like, America is the majority of the continent, is forest, and still they could shoot it down. But anyway. But wow, so that's like lots of information that the camera can collect. There was plenty of time to bring the balloon down before it made it to the US. That's so true. That's so true. Hello, all. Hello. Yoko, doesn't China spy on Japanese businesses and media all the time? Yes. It's not, I think that it's past the point of spying. It's like they are inside of us. They are they're in our country. It's like what's it called? Like a silent invasion. Yeah, that's what's happening to Japan. That China is very smoothly into our community that we don't even notice. Yeah, but at least our was it metropolitan police in Tokyo? They made videos about, for example, how industrial spies are doing their spy acts. That basically there are lots of people that spy on our industry because it can be used not only for their development of the country, like technology in back home. They can also spy on our technology, like what we are using for the military. Like it's not military, it's just self-defense forces, but like military use. So that's something that we need to look out for. But the problem of Japanese people is that now, like if you look at the poll, like the majority of people, like 80%, 90% of the Japanese people dislike China. We don't have a good image of China anymore, but still like weird. Our ties are so like deeply, it's so deep, business and everything. So yeah, screw the CCP. Yes. If it was a UFO space balloon from aliens from outer space, we wouldn't like that. But yeah, yeah, yeah. Now the US will make more movies like American Sniper and Zero Dark 30 with the pilot who shot down the balloon as the main protagonist of the movie, detailing how he maneuvered to line up shot. That would be badass. That'd be cool. Yeah. Do you notice that when you watch TV shows today, the actors have to know how to act around our phones? That like oftentimes they're on the phone, they swipe, and they have this acting scene, like it's fun and you have to act. And I see more and more scenes including the phone. So that's very funny. If I listen to Agent Boss, there was a time I was checking out their thing, their videos on Facebook, but I stopped looking into them. Should I? Yup, 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 yup. Okay, let's see. Let's skip a bit. Sorry. Oh, hello. Let's see. Any question? You just know a few words in Japanese? That's good enough. That's good. Like, at least, like, as long as you don't have like a racist way of thinking and you're open, if you're open to our country or any other country, then that's very good for the world peace. Like all the fears, when things are different from what in your community, then we feel fear. We get afraid, and then we start like building our walls around our mental state, and then that becomes a problem. in communication and information sharing. So that's good that you're open. The most likely had they most likely had the balloon relaying live information to a Chinese satellite or something. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, that's good though that America is saying it. Like I saw the news from here saying that the U.S. is um, planning to collect all the pieces, because that's the message that we will get to it, like we will check what you are checking, like we're watching you type of thing. Like it's a little bit late, but still it's good. And also like shoot it down. That's the action of shooting down the whatever is flying to your country from another country. That's a very strong political message. So that's just that alone is wonderful to me, because I have lots of frustration over CCP. Yeah, greetings from all from the country of the living sky. Young Japanese people live in sexlessness. I read. Why is it true, Yoko? Yes, yes, I think so. I believe that it's like the high percentage of the people in their 20s, they have never even had one experience, and it's amazing. But it's a bad economy, and also even though the economy is bad, at the same time our country is very ripe, that we have lots of like very high technology and lots of materials and all the electronic gears and everything that can help us live by ourselves. And also there are lots of amazing products in the grocery stores, and we can do everything online and even communicate online, and the COVID didn't help. And like people don't need others as much as before, at least that's what they think. And also I think that everything is so like technological now, the people, and also especially guys, they consume porns, right? And they can just like there's no mystery in like female bodies and so on, unlike the old times. Like guys back then were probably curious, like, "Ooh, what's gonna happen like when I do this?" Or something like that, right? Doesn't happen today. Like they know it all, and there's no stimulus and so forth, and like it's boring now. I think that, yeah, and people just mind their own business, and it's like it's bad. It's like all sorts of like it's good that our technology has developed and our human rights are protected and so on, but that kind of messed up our natural cycle. That's how I see. Trump gave us the quad. Biden not only snubbed Japan through AUKUS, but also lost India to Russia's sphere on influence. Yeah. Biden is very like, I my understanding of the Democratic Party is that they are supposed to interfere in other countries, but Biden is very wishy-washy, like, and also he often uh, he has gaffes too, so it's his leadership is very like we can't trust, and it's not good. Like especially Japan depend on America on economy and national security especially, and the head of America though is like that, like it's very unstable to my eyes. Yeah, it's like I don't know how much is the calculation and how much is just no ability. I can't tell what's going on. Japanese are the best agents. America may fall in less than 20 years due to the wide genocide policies. Who knows? I guess that there are no good or bad. like, uh, like, I'm friends with lots of people from other Asian countries. Like not only Tibet, Uyghurs, but Mongolia, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and so on. There are like Vietnamese and Cambodians, and like I talk to lots of different people, including Chinese people too. And I'm fascinated by all these different cultures, and it's amazing, especially when you look into foods, food culture. You realize that it's attached to the geographic element of where they live. So like sometimes like when people live up north or like up on the mountains and so on, and then even when their countries are different, when they're living far from each other, they're eating the same thing or they have the similar culture and so on. Like that sort of like, oh, like human, like it's fascinating how humans adjust to the environment, and they know it well to survive, like how to survive and so on. And it's reflected well in the culture, and knowing, like learning that is very, very interesting for me. But I do appreciate the compliment though for Japanese people. I feel like Japanese people are like our wisdom is declining. One big thing that I think about is because after the World War II, America knew, like America at the time was our enemy, right? And they wanted to destroy our society. I don't know why you were taught in school, but America back then, like Democratic Party led America, was they wanted to destroy our society because to Americans back then, Japan was looking like China today, right? Like it was threat, like we were threatening for America. But anyway, so what there are many policies that America took um against us during the occupation period. And one of the thing was that to destroy our big family culture. So yeah, it's now nuclear family, and they did that by building lots of like houses, like housing like this, that you separate people from like older generation. Like, oh, it's like, human rights for young people, they can have privacy and so forth. And so like two or three people can live together like in a small apartment or something like that. And that actually did bad to our society, because now like it's hard for families, like parents, to raise a child because they have to do it by their own instead of relying on their grandparents. And traditionally, like when the parents are working and children are still toddlers and so on, then grandparents can look after the little children, and also they can talk to each other. So it's good for each other, right? Children can learn wisdom from their grandparents, and also grandparents, they could have dementia or whatever, but they could be talking to children, and it's good exercise for their brain and so on. And they have to actually move the body to play with the kids. And it's like there was this good cycle, but we are losing it because there was a time like that. And suddenly, like if it's what if it was like it's happening like in all over the world, but if it was naturally happening, but things if it was a natural shift, then I don't think that we would have as many problems. But because it was like all of a sudden it cut off and changed, there are lots of consequences that we are facing. Whew. Anyway, let's see. I am gonna just scroll down to see how many comments I've got. Oh, thank you for your super chat, Max Resist. What does Japan think of African people? Do Japanese people call them nagging? What is nagging? Na 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 na. Wait. Uh, oh, しつこい。へえ。I personally think of African people as that they're easily deceived because I don't know. I actually don't know what it's like over there because it's so far, and our friendship is should be there, but we are not notified enough. So even I don't know. I have a friend or two. I don't know how many, but in South Africa, for example, and I've talked to them, but it's far, and I don't know. And but the thing is that, like, I guess that I have to talk about like Africans in Japan and Africans in Africa. But the image that I have today is that China is investing so much in Africa, because that's what they do. They are like mafia, like they soak soak you into their money, and that, like, basically making them in debt, and they do it in a way that they can't return the money, so they become the slave of China. So that's what's happening worldwide, and especially Africa. I hear that China is investing a lot, and Japan and America are trying to compete with that. But oh man, so that's what I hear. I have to admit that I haven't collected enough information. But as for in Japan, there should be African people living as well, but it's probably, you know majority are probably in Tokyo area, so I don't know much. Let's ask my husband. What do you think of African people? Oh, but back when we think about the World War II, for example, because Japanese people, like colored people, were fighting against the white countries, like I hear that they were encouraged by us and so on. So there's that. But what do you think about African people? I can't say that. He said, they don't matter. That's so racist. But that's just like, it just shows how far we feel. Oh yeah, and that's the problem, because they are left alone, over there, and China is or Russia, like they can go interfere. Mm. Mm. He's like yawning. He's like, oh, it doesn't matter to us. Like, the only thing that matters to us is that China is investing in Africa. So that's the what we feel threatened with. Uh, super chat. I see super chat. Thank you for super chat. China is trying to do what the IMF and World Bank do for the West. Use debt to control poorer countries. Yes, yes. 借金漬けにするっていうね。Yeah, yeah. So like we do see lots of documentaries or news coverage, about what China is doing and how they're doing, and the problems that occur afterwards. We see that on even on TV. So we have a good image of how how it works. But and I wish that my country was in a healthy state as a nation, so that we could you know do some counter move against China. But we don't even have a military force officially, so lots of things to do. um, Why Japanese were considered to be white in South Africa under white rule while Chinese were not? Really? That's interesting. He is sad. That's what. Yes. I think that's the as your husband. Yeah. It's uh it's difficult because like African countries and so on, like it doesn't matter when it comes to the UN, for example, that each country is equal, right? So they have a vote. And so even though like economically speaking, like we feel like, or national security too, like if you're so far geographically, then you don't really think about other countries. And also if economically speaking, if the country is too small compared to yours, and if you can't really do business with them, you don't really think about them, right? But China goes into them to get more support, the more the better. And they grow their influence, and who knows like what they can use the countries for. Like for example, I hear often that um China, of course, is the CCP is using Uyghur people, for example, for organ harvesting. So basically, they put all those Uyghur people in concentration camps, and they are basically their slaves, working for as their factory. And at the same time, they are like when there's an order, um, the certain type, like they're managed very well, that when there's a match of their client that needs an organ, then the Uyghur people can be I hear that there's no like you feel the what's the word, you feel you experience this pain because they don't give you any drug. So that, and their organs are get rid of their body alive and so on. And I hear awful testimonies, coming from Uyghur people. But so they CCP does that. And so they're probably thinking about their factories, and where they can get what in a world map. They probably have that. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. Anyway, any question? Hi, quick question. From a Japanese perspective, which countries do you think will be key to considering the growing Chinese aggression in the future? Which countries do you think will be key countering the growing Chinese aggression in the future? Key countries are America. So basically, those countries that agree on the free and open Indo-Pacific strategy, like America, and also um, AUKUS, right? Australia, and well, what does AUKUS? イギリス, the UK, and also India also is very key because they're in the middle of like Russia, China, and us. Like they're, like you can't really see where they stand. Same for South Korea, because geographically speaking, their back is connected to like right next to the big countries, China or Russia. And South Korea, of course, there's North Korea and then China, but historically speaking, too, that they have always struggled with the power balance. That if you become the enemy of the country next to you, then that makes you pay lots of cost, and you don't want to do that politically. So you have to see the balance. But then if you compromise too much, then your alliance will be they won't trust you either. So it's very, I feel almost bad for those countries, because it's so difficult, you know but it's so crazy that India has nuclear weapon, right? India owns a nuclear weapon or weapons. So yeah. I hear Chinese have territorial disputes with a lot of countries. Yes, they do with Japan. Do they have with South Korea? 中国は なんか領土問題、領海問題とかその種類の韓国とあるよね。黄海 Yellow Sea with South Korea and with Japan, Senkaku Islands and others, even Okinawa, I believe, and South China Sea, East China Sea, so like Philippines and where 南シナ海だったらどこだっけ Vietnam, Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia, all sorts of countries around there. So, man, I bought a world map book. I should use that. It's in my room, in my other room. But anyway, what do you think it happened before the year 2100? What do you mean? Good evening from New Orleans, Yoko. Good evening. Great to see you this evening. If potato brains was just wishy-washy, that would be an improvement. Because he's a potato. Um, let's see. Let's scroll down. Sorry, I'm skipping your comments. Mm, mm. Oh, Nikki Haley is supposed to show that she's what's the claim that she will run for the presidential election next week. Huh? 15日 on the 15th. Yeah, we heard on the news that Nikki Haley called Trump saying that, oh, I'll run for the election. Trump replied that the just shoot yourself type of thing, like do what you want to do. What do you think about that? What do you think about what's going on there, Nikki Haley and Trump, and the fact that she will run for the presidential election? My husband says that Nikki Haley is probably like considering the current situation. She is probably looking for the position of vice president. So I don't know who Nikki Haley is. Wow, that's so cruel. Nikki Haley is a disappointment. Mm. Do you like? Is she still like your enemy? Mm, 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 mm. So my comment section is it takes a little bit to read all the comments. Let's see. I'm American and I don't know who she is. What? But yeah, was it 2 weeks ago or so? Like when we saw on the newspaper here, it had the support rates of like Trump and other people, and that included Nikki Haley, and Nikki Haley was like just a little bit. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, no enemy. She's not relevant enough to be an enemy. もう関与してないから、そのなんか小物じゃないけど、うん、関係ないから敵までとは言かないと。Haley is promoted and supported by the dreaded neocons. We all hate her. That's interesting. Oh, super chat! Nikki Haley is a long shot for president, but it is a good opportunity to raise money and elevate her national profile by declaring her candidacy. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. まだ先が長い、けれども、結局お金をゲットするのと、あとその国家的なその立場をね、上げるためにまあ使うんじゃないのみたいな。まあいい機会だよねって。That makes a perfect sense. That's I think that's true. Because elections are interesting because we do it over here too. That sometimes like people run for elections, but not to win, you know um for the time that they are running. It's the investment for the future. My husband actually has run for national level election before, but that was not for him to actually be elected, but because by him running for the election, he belonged to a certain party. So by him being in the race, he got the attention from all the people in the area to show the party name. Like, hey, we are from this party, which you didn't know before, but I'm running from this party. Please, remember our name. So that's what he was doing. So sometimes we use it like that too. Oh, $5. まだ表示されてない。あ、来た。Thank you for a super chat! Nikki Haley, real name Nimrata Randawa, is a globalist front fanny neoconservative. Is that her real name? Seriously? Where is she from? てか、そもそも、どんなあれだっけ。おー。Oh yeah, it does says Nimrata and Randawa. Oh yeah, I can see that on Wikipedia in Japanese. インドのパジャーブ系アメリカ人。ああ。So my husband's point is actually that, like, not the globalist part or neocon part, but her background, that she's a female and also she's Indian blooded, and so it's like the good figure for vice president for either Trump or DeSantis. What do you guys think? But is it like, I guess that both don't like neocon type though. So maybe that's, but then politics is something that you need to gather the support from like broad, like wide range of people. So maybe like she's like, you can use her in that sense. She doesn't like Americans. What makes you say that? Yeah, Indian descent. She's a puppet of neocon Jews. Very powerful coalition, but people hate them anyway. That's interesting. Hmm. So if Kamala Harris is a VP who is a woman of color, Nikki Haley can check the same boxes. Yes, yes, yes. Plus, she was a governor and ambassador. Yes, that's what my husband is trying to say. I just saw before I came on this live stream, I was checking on Fox News to see what's going on in America, and I saw this lady impersonating Kamala Harris and her obnoxious laughter, like and it was so funny. Like she does it so well. The nasal voice and the weird laughter, and yeah. American news are so free sometimes that they can feature stuff like that. Hello, hello. First trans president is most likely something that the Democrats would come up with. I think they missed the first female president vote. Oh, that's true. Yeah, it could come from the Republican side. Isn't that interesting that the leftists or Democrats, who whatever you want to call it, like those people on the left want to label conservative people or people on the right side as racist or, against feminism and that sort of things. Like they label you. But the reality is that there are lots of women that are really very intellectual, powerful, and they have lots of skills and they have high social status, and like they've worked their way up as women. And there are lots of people like that on the Republican side, and that's something that we shouldn't ignore. And even what's interesting is that the American friends that I have, from the conservative community, they are a lot of them are female. And that never happens here. The people that I work with, don't, like in my country, the majority are men, of course, but not in America. Conservative side holds a lot of females, so that's very amazing. Mm, 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 The fact that a sitting American president sat down for one-on-one interview with a guy in a dress and a wig and a whatnot was something I never thought would happen. It happened. Uh, wasn't there some guy in Biden's administration that was like that did wear a dress and makeup and he stole something? Like, wasn't there? I feel like there was a news like that. I don't remember well. Hmm. Nikki Haley is the person who started the trend of taking down historical US statues when she ordered all the Confederate flags taken down. What? そうだっけ？うん。うん。銅像を撤去するって。That's bad. ああ、まあ、収集するためってとこなんやろね。Wow. So she doesn't fight. She rather does that. That's bad. That's really bad. Hmm. If the first trans president is a Republican, all of a sudden the Democrats will become transphobic. That's a good point. Yeah. It's been obvious America is heading in a completely revolutionary and destructive direction for decades. Yeah. Still a big country though. America is. Hmm. I feel though that, for example, in Japan, for some reason, the internet is dominated by conservatives or right wings, and leftists have their own network too, but there are more people on the right on the internet, like politically speaking. There are lots of different people, of course, like everybody is using the internet, but they are non-political people usually, so they don't say anything. But if they raise some kind of opinion, then we have lots of websites and platforms to speak from the conservative or just right-wing perspective, and we are stronger online. And that's why young people, here in Japan, they tend to be more conservative than leftists. Like we have the young people here have common sense more. It's a little bit difficult when it comes to like same-sex marriage and so on, because they don't see what it's really about. So things like that are a little bit difficult, but when it comes to national security and so forth, young people tend to understand what's going on in the world and what we need to do to counter that. But people like older generation, on the other hand, they love China. They also don't want wars, so they don't want to fight, and so they basically doesn't work on our they don't want our government to work on our national security and so forth. So yeah, I wonder how America Like why are Americans, like there I see lots of liberal people posting their videos, like the worst kind ever is the teachers, pushing all this LGBTQ type of things onto children, it's not their call, that it should be just optional. It shouldn't be forced onto children, but those teachers are very determined, and they even talk about their day at their elementary school or kindergarten or whatever, and post videos about it. And when I watch that sort of things, I'm like, wow, like how can that happen? I think that, oh, now I'm speaking and it made sense to me that I think that it's due to Japanese people's, like we are very harsh to each other, like because we are one race and we are supposed to share the common cultural background. When there are some weird people, we attacked massively, like with the like a huge group, like basically bullying almost, like we are like, what are you doing, like what do you think you are doing, like everybody raise our voice, and like the society is balanced out well in that way, that when there are some people that try to derail from our rule, then the society, like we, the people, we push them down, but Americans, its own, like because it's collectivism here. But in America, it's more about individualism and each person's rights, right? So maybe that's the reason why, because everybody is supposed to be free, right? Oh, Mazunido. Oh, Mazunido. $2. Thank you for super chat. It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. Adam and yeah. They should read all the stories. Yoko, what are your thoughts on Stephen Crowder and Daily Wire controversy that happened recently? I'm actually not following that. Some of you brought it up last week or so. I didn't look into it because there's I don't know. Should I pay attention? Because I don't know. Sorry, I should be aware of all what's happening in America, but yeah, uh, I haven't, I don't know anything. Sorry. Yeah, but hmm, hmm, it's difficult to comment on that. Yeah, are people following that? I haven't been following the Crowder Shapiro thing. Yeah. Hmm. It because Satan have been invading America. Once America fails, so will the rest of the world. Hmm. They are kind of annoying, phony right wing people, especially Shapiro. Yeah, like I do see that Ben Shapiro receiving like lots of different evaluation. Like we can all see that he's smart, but like he's like a genius level, like when he was younger, especially I hear that he skipped grades and so on, and that's like wow. But I guess that it's about values, and especially like religious values too. Like is if your background, like what your beliefs are different, then your opinions will, like the result of your opinion will be different. So and I think that what happens to like very intellectual smart people is that they are obsessed with logic, and sometimes logic, like I love logical thinking, but sometimes it's not about the logic, so even if you calculate everything and even if it makes sense on the table, doesn't make sense in real life. So maybe he has that sort of problem. I don't know. I don't know well enough about him, so I can't really. Hmm. say about that? Ooh, I need to go soon, guys. Get louder with Crowder, Yoko. Steven was right and Daily Caller was wrong. Long story short. Huh. Oh, I see. Okay. Individuals can help one another. Codependents cannot help one another. おじいちゃん大丈夫？おじいちゃんむせたの？ Sometimes he coughs up. My husband. I'm like, Grandpa, you okay? Japan must resist the liberal influence of the US media. I feel like I was actually um afraid of all the liberal movement, especially during Trump administration. Because if you liberals were very active during Obama administration. No, during a Trump administration. Why? Because Trump is such a symbolic figure, right? And it's so easy to do a political activities when you have this enemy figure, as the head, so that you can be the resistance, and you can be like, right? But now it's Biden, and they can't really do anything right now because it's their administration. And it's like, right? But during the Trump administration, of course, there were Me Too movement and all this anti-Trump movement, and it spread to the UK and all elsewhere in Europe, and that was imported here in Japan as well. And since Shinzo Abe was great friends with Trump, like it was spreading to him too. And so that's like back then I used to have this kind of like a cautious feel, like I was feeling alert on things like that, like, oh, maybe our people could be influenced by that. But today it's Biden administration. We don't see any anti-Trump movement happening. And like they complain online, but that's about it. And we don't get to hear about it right over here. And what's interesting is that here in Japan too, our current Prime Minister Kishida is actually pushing our national security onto the next level. And it's something that our former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe couldn't, because he was seen like Trump basically. That Abe comes from a rich family and like politician family, and he's very powerful, and also he's supposed to like two liberal people. He's like right wing, dangerous, militaristic right wing. So like they were doing everything that they can to stop him. But Kishida doesn't have any image like that. That he's just a neutral LDP politician, and there's no characteristic. Like there's no character of him, and the left cannot bash him. So then he's like, yes, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. And everything is getting cleared except for economy. So that's what's happened. And I think that that's why I think that there are some Republican people that don't want Trump, because Trump is amazing. I love Trump too, but because the opposition can be like the leftists can unite against Trump, and the movement can be very strong inside of America, then it can spread to the world. So I guess that in politics, that sort of aspect is very difficult to, and even if Trump changes his way of thinking or whatever, he already has established his um, you know standpoint. So anyway, Yoko, do you think karate is a legit form of self-defense? I do judo now, and I'm debating between karate and Muay Thai as a second martial art. Ooh, I would go with Aikido. If I have an opportunity, I want to learn Aikido because it's it's more efficient, especially because I'm a female though. Yeah, karate. I don't. I think that there are kinds of karate too that like they just do the form sometimes, and other times they actually tackle each other. And I don't know enough. But Muay Thai is that's that's strong. I don't know well, but I don't know. 空手ってさ、実践的になんかこう、いいと思う。あso karate, my husband just told me that there's kyokushin, kyokushin karate. And with that, they have a full contact with each other. So basically beat up each other, I guess. So the uh, if you truly polish your skill, then judo is the strongest. That's what my husband hears. But yeah. でもなんかこの人は今柔道ができて、空手とムエタイのどっちをやるかっていうのを悩んでる。ムエタイの方が強そうじゃない？ I have no idea. Sorry. But that's great that you're moving your body, you know. Are you live, Yoko? Yes, I'm live. Yes, yes, yes. Sorry, I came late though. If that's the what you were wondering. As long as Kyushu doesn't sell out on mass migration, Japan will be fine. That's true. Yeah. It's interesting that we don't talk about immigration anymore. I feel like we ended that debate because Japanese people, at the end of the day, like we don't like immigrants. We love foreigners. We like it when there are tourists, but when we are actually like when we lose our control or something, when for example, there are lots of like crime cases committed by foreign people. And even though Japanese people commit crimes too, like when foreign people commit crimes, then that stand out so much that we are like, oh no, foreigners, because we live more instinctively than other countries. So I'm not too worried about immigrants here. I'm worried about America though, because I hear not only the southern border but northern border is from the northern borders, people are coming into. I hear like more people, so that's something to consider. But yeah, the world economy right now is really bad. And a few weeks back, I saw the video of the current Paris and how it's like immigrant people, and also it looks like a slum. And so, like, people are poor or some sort, and it doesn't look good. It doesn't look Paris either. And also, I just recently, like, I think it was yesterday, that I saw the news from France that there are lots of drugs, like drug dealers, in France now. And that the amount is just massive, in France, the drug. um and so I was looking at the news and then realizing how, because it's not only the fault of Macron, but because the economy, when the economy is bad, criminals like that become more active. I feel like, because people need money to survive. So yeah, we really need to fix the economy. And what's happening in Japan, by the way, is that there's this huge case that there have been some robbery, or was it more of vulgar? Wait, I need to know. Robbery, burglary. Yeah. So basically, this criminal group, there's a headmaster, and then there are lots of troops under him, and um, they have been going into people's houses, and they actually killed, they they have several cases in one district, like in was it Tokyo or somewhere like around there, but this nine this lady in her 90s was killed by the people that got into her home to steal her stuff and money. And then it became a huge case here in Japan. And actually, the headmaster is, I don't even know if he's Japanese, but he goes by Luffy and whatever name, or Kim, or whatever name that he has. But he's in the Philippines, and he was actually in what you call not jail, is it jail, prison. And he's kept in the facility. He's a criminal, so he's in the facility, but he had access to his phone and internet, and so he was freely giving directions or instructions to his people, and those people were committing crimes, and that was happening. And what's funny, like ironically, is that the is it president in Philippines? Yes. So president of the Philippines is coming to Japan soon. So even though it's supposed to be a long time to, give the criminals back to Japan, they're sending earlier to us so that the president can come peacefully, after all are done. But anyway, I can't. I'm not an expert of like all these criminal things, so I can't really explain well. So, but you should look into what's happening here. That all this, if you Google like Philippines, Japan, Luffy, maybe, or robbery, you should see the results. Man, it's really awful what's happening. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's been an hour and it's 3:30 p.m. here on a Sunday. I should walk my husband. He's like, yeah. That's cute. Yes, I need to go. Sorry that I was late today. I tried to be more healthy, being a good health. Yeah. Kunoichi. Ice cream walk, that'll be cool. Yeah, he should buy me a coffee or something. I love coffee. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, yes, even though I want to take up every comment, I tried my best today. And if I didn't, pick your comments, then make sure you come back next week. When is next week? What day is today? Next week? Oh, no, call. Oh. Okay, so next week I should be able to have this stream again. So please come back with questions again and let's talk more. Okay, yeah, thank you guys. Yes, coffee, yes, walk your husband, yes, walk the dog, yes. Thank you guys, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate every single one of you for coming. Thank you, and have a good day or good night. Sleep well if you're on the other side of the world. Okay. uh, uh incentive to do it's incentive to do super chats. Yeah, yes, it motivates me, and also it supports me financially for my living. So thank you. Okay, bye. And if you're watching later, you can still post what's called super thanks comment, super thanks bot. Good night, all. Good night. Good night. Later. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Motivation. Yeah, motivation. Yes. Superchat affects algorithm. Yeah, that's true too. Yes. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Thank you so much. Okay, bye.